Hey guys, it's Michael, and today I wanted to go ahead and give you a quick look inside the Grayed Out studio. So today I'm going to be going and making a dice bag with a really cool pumpkin motif for Halloween. Let's go ahead and get started with the sewing process. Thanks for joining me. So what I'm doing now is sewing the inside lining together along one of the edges. I have all of my fabric pre-cut and marked already, so I don't have to do that on camera. This is the inside lining, the main section. So this is gonna stand up like this to form the inside of the dice bag. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the same step I just did on the black fabric with the pumpkin fabric. I'm not sure how much of this sewing process is actually visible for you guys because of the way the camera is set up, but hopefully you're still kind of getting at least a little bit of entertainment out of being able to watch me sew this dice bag together. So now that the two sides are both sewn together, I'm going to go ahead and pin the square base to the fabric here, and then we're going to go ahead and sew that for both pieces. And I think, all things considered, pinning everything is usually what ends up taking me the longest when it comes to making dice bags, because there are a lot of pins involved in this process. And a lot of the time, sewing everything together is a lot faster than pinning it. Because when you're running a line through the sewing machine, all you have to do is basically keep your foot on the pedal to make sure that the sewing machine goes, and you're good to go. Whereas while you're pinning, you've got to make sure that everything lines up nice and neatly. I've got all of these lines marked where I'm pinning, which also takes a little bit of time. And each of these sections has probably about 8 different pins in it. Usually when I'm making dice bags, I work in batches if I can. So if I have 2 or 3 dice bags that all need to get finished and mailed out, I will work on the same step on all of them, just to make it a little bit faster, so that I'm not switching between, okay, I have to sew the long edges on, well, I have to sew the short edges on all of the inside linings, and then I have to pin all of these together, and then have to repeat it for a second dice bag and a third dice bag and a fourth dice bag. So it's easier if I sew 6 of these at the same time and then sit down and pin 6 of these together and then sew all 6 of those, versus sew 1, pin 1, sew 1, pin 1. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically, it's a little tiny bit of a batch working process. And now we go ahead and sew this section together. And here I actually just made the classic mistake that I was just telling you guys I try to avoid whenever possible, which was that I pinned this and then I sewed this together. And now I have to go ahead and repeat the process for the black section of the dice bag. Stay tuned. Second section done. Now that both the inside lining and the outside have been sewn together, we're going to go ahead and trim off the seam allowance on here. And all of these edges are going to be hidden on the inside of the dice bag, so I'm not worried about them fraying or anything like that. That's one of the cool things about the way these dice bags get put together, is that there are a very small number of seams for a bag like this. Next step is to turn the outside pumpkin print inside out. Right side out? I think it's right side out technically. So what you've got now is this gorgeous pumpkin print fabric right here. And then we go back to pinning. The inside lining gets pinned in exactly the same way, except that this one doesn't get flipped. So on the inside lining, the seams are basically on the outside. But when you pin this section into the dice bag, they're all going to be on the inside. You're going to match up the seams right here. Because it's a nice symmetrical and convenient place for everything to line up. Match the seams on each side, and then just go around and make sure that all your fabric is even. And pin everything in place. If you watched the video from a couple days ago, you may already be familiar with this part of the process. Last step here is to snip off all of these loose threads, because obviously you don't want these hanging on a finished dice bag. You basically just end up putting in the drawstring and you're done. And I am actually, since I'm at this stage already, finished dice bag, except for the drawstring. The cool thing about grayed out dice bags, besides being fully washable because they're 100% cotton, they hold an enormous amount of dice, but they're also fully reversible. So what you can do, if you have two cool prints of fabric that you really like, and you're not sure which one you want on the outside, you just go ahead and flip the bag inside out and you're all set. Now to string this, it couldn't be simpler. I use a craft cord. It's not paracord, it's a different type of craft cord. I think the package says it's 2mm acrylic craft cord or something along those lines. It's heat fusible, which is nice because that's what I use to make sure that the ends don't fray after a couple days use. That's the final step, which I probably won't do on camera because I think you'll get the idea. But basically I use a paper clip to run the drawstring all the way through the channel that I just sewed, which you can see right there. Nice and simple. A big paper clip is the easiest way I've found to do this whole process. You snip, and then you do it a second time, because grayed out dice bags have a really cool double drawstring. It's a great way to make sure that your dice bag actually stays shut when you want it to. And it's going to be, I think I mentioned this in the other video too, but it's going to be nice and secure. You're not going to lose any dice out of it, which is great. You can close the dice bag, toss it in your gaming bag when you're heading out to play Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer 40k or anything along those lines. Anything where you basically need a huge ton of dice. Although I don't think you really need a ton of dice for Dungeons and Dragons, but I know that I personally like to have a good selection in case one of my dice is not rolling well, or I feel like switching it out for a different set, or what have you. And then you knot it up. A lot of the time these drawstrings will also get cord locks on there, which is an additional little option that I like to make available for people. And then here you go with a finished Halloween-themed pumpkin dice bag for all your spooky gaming needs. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this look inside the Grayed Out studio. Join me for more videos in the future. If you're interested in that sort of thing, please let me know. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like to see. I can keep trying to do these cool things if you enjoy watching them, and I guess I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.